talk about you for a little while, Rico Anderson. What do you say? So, hey, Rico, how
Hey,
are you?
I'm
Thank you
good.
so much for joining us, by the way. Your name's Rico E. Anderson. What's the E stand for, by the way?
You know, I
That's a Y.
huh? So the E is stands for many things, but my middle name is Elliot.
Hmm.
Elliot.
Ah, great.
Short story behind it. There was an old TV show called The Untouchables, starring Robert Stack, and my mom was a huge fan of the show.
Elliot
And
Ness.
Elliot Ness, yeah. And but there was a character on there named Rico. And like whenever Robert Stack's character would get like a call, there's something going on over at the train station or whatever, he'd be like, John, Robert, Rico, let's go. And my mom, according to the story, my mom was sitting up there pregnant with me, and she was like, Rico, that's a lovely name. If I have a boy, I'm going to name him Rico. If I have a girl, I'm going to name him Melissa.
Yeah,
So,
Melissa.
so
That's cool.
my name is Melissa. No, so my name is Rico, and my middle name is Elliot. From
Rico,
Nice.
Melissa, Elliot.
Wasn't Robert Stack the guy that was like on Rescue 911 or something like that? Like
he
he
did
was,
like the documentaries of.
yeah, like something in like the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He was also an airplane too. Remember that? He was like
Oh yeah.
he was the guy that they called in to basically fix everything. He was like,
So, but here's my question for you, Rico. You're an actor. What got you into that?
I've been told. I've been wanting to act ever since I was a kid. Literally, I would see TV shows where I wouldn't see a whole lot of black folks on it, but when the ones that I saw, I was very much like, wow, it's cool to see me. It's cool to see representations of me in different lights. And I loved watching it. I always loved watching TV, but I always told myself I would love to do what they're doing. It just seemed like so much fun. And I remember seeing this touring production of The Wiz and loving that and loving the dancers. Stephanie Mills started an R&B legend, Stephanie Mills. And I remember seeing from her to the dancers and just going, wow, I love seeing these people on stage dancing, singing and acting and doing all this stuff. So eventually I knew one day I wanted to move to Hollywood to be, at the time, a movie star. And eventually, and this is when we were living in Chicago. Eventually we moved to Northern California, and I did a lot of theater, a lot of independent film, and just working my way up towards moving to LA. And, it's always been in my head ever since I was like 7 that I wanted to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're a kid, you looked up watching TV, you didn't see a lot of black actors, and you're black, I think, right?
Yeah, I've been told.
And growing up as a 7-year-old black child in Chicago and then later on in Berkeley, Alameda?
In Berkeley, starting in Berkeley.
Only
Yeah.
Berkeley, okay. Was there ever any roles where you're like, I just really want to play a cop someday, or a judge, or a bad guy, or an alien, or was there anything like that?
I've always wanted to play like firemen and doctors and
Heroes?
characters. Yeah, and loving sci-fi and comics ever since I was a kid. I mean, I've literally been a nerd ever since I was a little boy. The thing about nerds is we all have that brain as a child, because we've all played with different toys and we've all watched cartoons and stuff. The only difference is some of us still grow, when we grow up, we still retain that love of it, and that love of comics and sci-fi and pew pew space and all that kind of stuff.
Pew pew pew.
Yeah, so
you didn't know that Mike does good impressions of laser guns.
Yeah,
I've heard your work on various sci-fi shows. And I have to say, big fan. So, but yeah, I just always wanted to play that. But I've always wanted to play superheroes. I've always wanted to do sci-fi.
Damn, you haven't done that superhero yet, right?
Not played that superhero yet.
Damn, that'd be cool.
It's coming.
You should.
It's coming. Wait for it. I said I wanted to do sci-fi, and here we are.
Tell us about your sci-fi experiences.
Um, it was luckily enough to do a project that really kind of changed a big portion of my career in terms of doing sci-fi, and which was actually right here behind me, Star Trek Renegades. It's backwards, but
No, it's we
it's
see it right.
you do? Oh, okay. For me, I see it backwards. Anyway, this character right here is Boros, the one of the bad guys in Star Trek Renegades. Was really blessed to get that cast directly by Mr. Tim Russ, who directed Star Trek Renegades, who reprised his role as Tuvok from Voyager. From that, worked on Horizon with
Mm.
Mr. Husk here, worked on Fifth Passenger, worked on a variety of different other shows, got cast in the Orville, I believe.
Yeah, that was
Because,
awesome.
yeah, the fact that I could do prosthetics, and hopefully because I was a good actor, and just really been able to tap into a lot of different genres in terms of that ball rolling even more, and made lifelong friends as a result of it, and had some great relationships come out of it, and you know touring like you and I have done, Ryan, to different sci-fi
Conventions, yeah.
yeah, and it's been a great other door that has opened in terms of this business that we're in that has so many different levels of it. One can go the comedy route, the dramatic route, the sci-fi route. You could be more in voiceover. You could be more on the writing side, on the producing. There's so many different avenues, and so many different hats you can wear.
Mike, have you seen the Orville?
I have, yeah. I saw the episode that Rico was in.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping, I mean, hey, your character didn't die. So you can
Yeah.
always come back, or I mean, more likely, if you have makeup all over you, you can come back as another character,
As anything.
Right.
or the same alien, different character kind of thing. It'd be fun to be a Mocklin again, right?
I would love to. Actually, I have a buddy, Antonio D. Charity, who was in the same episode as me on the Orville. He played basically the lawyer in the
Right.
the whole scene. They're it's possible that they may be bringing some characters back, because we have a buddy who was also in it as well. Forgot who he played. He was one of the
Your best friend, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, who could forget old best pal?
but not anymore because of this episode. So yeah, you just I'm hoping that they bring him back. But yeah, like you said, with prosthetic, just like in Star Trek, they how many people played various
Jeffrey
characters?
Combs, he played like 9 different people, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, Doug
James.
Jones has made a career out of playing different people in prosthetics too. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
almost a shocker when you see him actually without prosthetics.
right.
Because he's gorgeous, right?
He's a heartthrob. So
Yeah. So we only have a couple minutes left, Rico, but are you working on anything right now that we could go check out?
well, I was, and then the unfortunate coronavirus kicked in and halted a lot of productions. Once everything is lifted and life does return to normal, I will be shooting SWAT. I don't know if it's going to end up being the season finale like it was originally planned, but I'm scheduled to bring back a character that I actually shot 2 years ago, which is young Daniel. For people who watch SWAT, young Daniel, the character of Daniel is basically Shamar Moore's father on the show. So I'm the younger version of his character. The current version of that character is played by Oba Babatunde, and he's a brilliant actor, singer, dancer. So I'll be shooting that. I am going to be shooting a baseball film about the Negro Leagues, specifically about Ernie Banks.
No way.
Yeah, it's called
That's
On
so
Smooth
cool.
and Dirt, starring myself and as Buck O'Neill, who was the manager of the Kansas City Monarchs. That's going to be shot in Atlanta. The main star attached, couple of main stars attached, is Louis Gossett Jr. and Andy Garcia.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
Andy Garcia is not playing one of the players, right?
no, I believe he might be one of the owners. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
That's really cool. When does it take place?
It takes place during, I believe, the 40s when the Negro Leagues were still happening. And for people who don't know, basically, in a nutshell, the Negro Leagues were formed because black baseball players weren't allowed to play in the major leagues. So they formed the Negro League so they could play. And the major leagues saw how amazing a lot of them were. And
They're like, maybe we should reconsider this.
yeah. We should rethink this wacky thought that black people shouldn't play in the major leagues.
Hey, see, these guys actually play pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, so
Bring him in. Yeah. So that's how we got like Jackie Robinson. You know, he was like the face of that crossover actually happening. But there were a lot of other players who they say were even better than Jackie Robinson. But he was like the poster child. He had the look. He had the, you know, just the personality. He just was the face of that representation. Ernie Banks was another representative of it. He was an amazing player. Buck O'Neill, the character that I play, was an amazing coach who eventually was the first black player to get drafted into the major leagues as a scout for the, I believe, the Chicago Cubs.
Damn, that is really fun, dude. I didn't know that. Yeah. And so you're going to be shooting that in Georgia when this all settles down, huh?
Yeah. Technically, it was supposed to probably would have been going down right now, but at this point, depending on what happens, it will probably be sometime in the summer.
Summer in Georgia, huh? Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, and then I know. We'll see. But anyway.
Yeah, so we'll give everybody your social media stuff down below in the comments. Sorry, not in the comments, but in the description box so they can check you out. And
appreciate
any final thoughts on that, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg?
Well, we'll give you your social media, your date of birth, social security number, all that good stuff.
Oh, your driver's license number too.
Oh, don't forget that. Yeah.
They're not going to get anywhere without that.
Make sure they get my PIN number so they can get my $1,200 stimulus check.
Oh, yeah.
From the government.